Hello and welcome back to the manifesting episode part 2 with, should we do an actual full introduction here?
Why not?
Manifesting part 2 with me, Paula.
And me, Nelia.
So if you're here, thank you for sticking around. And if you haven't listened to part 1 yet, please go and listen because we've basically just went over like nice wee stories about manifesting and setting the scene for this episode.
Mm-hmm. It was kind of a wee manifesting girly chat.
It did turn into a gal group chat episode.
Group chat. But it was good. We
yeah,
quite liked our wee manifesting stories.
Yeah, me too. And it's inspo for you guys.
Yeah,
loved it. Okay, let's get right into it. So please grab your journal or your notes on your phone. So in terms of the right tools before we get into the steps, different tools that people use are things like sage burning, you know, to like cleanse the air.
Burning.
Yeah. And
which I was doing in my class today.
And why do we do that then? It's like to sort of cleanse the air, isn't it?
It's like a ritual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make room for good energy.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not into that,
incense
burning as well, you know, using that during like your yoga and meditation, you don't need to do that, right?
No.
When I first started, I didn't.
Same.
And even at that, I still don't.
Maybe
light my
burns a
incense.
candle.
Yeah. And that's another thing that I was going to mention there, candles. Like, and I just think they things kind of put you in that mood though. They put you in, it's like when you're, well, I don't know about you, I went to a Catholic school. We would you always like light a wee candle for saying a prayer.
Yeah.
Takes you back to that. So any good Catholic lasses out there, you'll know what I mean. You know, you go down to the chapel.
That's exactly, Paula. Good Catholic lassie.
Maybe other religions do that as well. You're like
Buddhism, it's incense.
It's sort of like a wee symbol for just like attracting good stuff.
Yeah.
Other tools you can use are your vision boards or action boards, some people like to call them. And they are obviously really good for just having that reminder, like not even every day, just somewhere where you see it now and again, just to sort of prime your brain for what it is that you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some people don't like looking at it every day. I quite like having it up.
Yeah, I'm the same. Even some days you don't even realise that it's there. And then some days you're like, oh.
And I have a digital version of it as well. And I have it as my wallpaper on my
that's a good idea.
Laptop.
Yeah.
Because I quite like that.
When I first started all this, I changed the background of my phone to that, but I made it myself and it was just like all the different like wee things like I don't chase, I attract, things that I'm grateful for in my life. And it was just like a wee reminder. I'd be like, oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Love
it.
So if you've not done like the full vision board yet, or maybe that's not something that you're really into, because I know some people have a tough time visualising and things, like there's other ways that you can try. So again, like setting like a wee background in your phone, or I don't know, what else could you try if you're not really into like vision boards?
Oh, so on Pinterest, you can make yourself like a Pinterest vision board.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yep.
It doesn't have, I think they have like an actual setting on it
where you can
write a vision board.
See, I prefer like the actual in-person.
Because Run Club Chloe, that's what she showed me on hers. Oh. That's where she does all her vision boards.
For making vision boards as well, by the way, this is a top tip. If you download an app called Free Prints, they can send you all the pictures that you want for free.
Yeah.
You literally just pay the postage. So that's what I done.
So
I just collected all the pictures from my phone that I wanted. So anything that you're visualising, like, don't be scared. If you want a Lamborghini, put that on there, right? So you're seeing it every day to remind yourself, like, even if it's like a holiday you want to manifest, like say you want to go to Disneyland, get that on there. Go on to Free Prints, like screenshot all the pictures and it will send it to you. That's what I done last year. And we also have another tool would be scripting, which again goes back to your journaling. And scripting is basically just writing down your life, like exactly what it is. Like Nelia spoke about the movie scripting before.
Scripting out what you want your life to be.
Yeah.
And basically planning out your vision.
It's
really cool.
And like the specifics. So I remember writing down something before, like I am in my dream workplace, and as soon as I walk in, the temperature is right and it smells really good and it's right, nice and bright and airy, and you know, very specific things like that. Even like with this flat, there were similar things, like we spoke about that in the first episode. So just write it out as if you've already got it. Yeah. And pairing that up with your gratitude journaling, which we'll get into in this episode as well. So there's all the different tools that you could use. I mean, there will be other things out there, but that's the things that we kind of discussed. And crystals, that's another tool. I might have mentioned that at the same time as like the sage. So yeah, you've got all your kind of spiritual kind of things. Like,
don't run away, by the way.
You've already spoke about burning sage.
You don't have to.
No, you don't.
You don't have to believe in them either. But,
No.
you know, every little helps.
It's just a symbol or something like that's physical and tangible. So when I really got into crystals at one point, right? I think every heartbroken girlie gets into them, right? Me and all my pals had them.
For real.
Obviously, people have their own methods, right? The crystals are good because for me, I would just be like, think about something, hold the crystal. So again, it's like something tangible, physical there instead of just your thoughts. There's a really good book that kind of talks about like the magic rock, and it's the book is called The Magic, and it's one of the secret edition. And maybe this is where I kind of got into the crystals. So it basically says to get a magic rock, and whenever you're thinking about gratitude or something that you want or something you're trying to manifest, you hold the rock and you just trust that it's going to happen. So for things like that, it can be quite good. And if you want to go and look into crystals and all that, I'm not your guy, right? I know a wee bit about them. I know like rose quartz is love and blah, blah, blah. The rest of them, I don't, like maybe one day I will look into this a wee bit more. Not today. So there you go. That's another thing that you can use, right? So there's some tools that you can add to your basket now in TikTok shop or Amazon or whatever. Or actually shop local. We should be promoting shopping local for these things. There's really cute wee mystical shops.
A really nice, if you ever want to go for a wee trip, a day trip, go to Bigger. Lovely wee crystal shop there.
Lovely.
And a lovely wee crystal shop in People's.
But that's a really good day with the gals. Like lassies
Charcoal,
do
grey
that.
and Bigger.
Yeah. There you go.
And then go to Aroma.
Neil, you're sorting you out.
Yeah, we'll go to Aroma for a wee coffee after. Stunning vibes, gals, stunning vibes. And then come to yoga at Soulshine Yoga.
There
Gals.
she goes.
I've got the perfect day out for you.
Is this a paid promotion?
Hashtag ad. Love it.
Right, so there's your tools. You know where to go. You know what to do. So let's talk about the steps that you need to take, right? So step one is to be very clear on your vision.
Yeah.
Be very specific and ask. Put it out there. Ask for it. We spoke about this in the goal setting episode 2, but obviously that's more about like goals setting as opposed and like habits as opposed to like the whole spiritual manifesting. I mean, it all kind of ties in, right?
It does tie in, but yeah, there's slight differences.
Yes, so being very specific. A good way to do that is the scripting that we just mentioned. So writing down specifically your dream work environment or your dream holiday or your dream partner, and make sure that it's actually what you want. So quite often we can ask for things because we feel like that's what we should want. And then it's not going to happen, because going back to one of my diaries there, 3 years ago, I thought that I wanted one thing and I was writing about that and like trying to manifest it, and it just wasn't happening. Like I remember basically there was this business that I wanted to start and I needed a van. And I was going to view vans and just nothing was happening. I kept getting pushed back and things were falling through and nothing, it didn't feel right. Nothing about it felt right. And do you know what I mean? I was like, oh, but this is what I want. And obviously I didn't. And I'm like, I look back now and I'm like, I didn't want that. I just wanted to do that because I was like stuck and just thinking, fuck, what's a quick way out of this? Or like I'd seen someone else doing it and thought, oh, maybe that'd be quite nice. But actually nothing else I was doing was aligning with that. So, of course, it didn't happen. I just kept getting roadblocks put in my way. So you'll find that sometimes when you're manifesting, like, it can be the wrong thing. And it's to look for the signs.
I had the same situation when I came back from Thailand.
Yeah.
I thought I had another dream. It was the most picture perfect job at school. I had the interview process, and at the very final stage, it fell through. Everything just kept falling through, and I kept applying, fell through, kept applying for another, fell through. I thought, what? Why is this happening? This is supposed to be what I want to do.
Yeah, supposed to be.
Supposed to be. And I kept writing down, like, this is what I want. Like, come on.
And now we
just
know that
kept
it's not
happening. And then I really had to sit down with myself and go, hold on. Because that's when I started yoga, and that's, when I started this whole journey. And it was like, oh, wait, hold on.
Tough to admit admit it to yourself, like, I don't want to do this, because you feel like you're letting other people down.
And I'd worked my whole life, my whole career for that.
Yeah.
And then to admit to myself,
Yeah.
That's not what I want to do
Yeah.
for the rest of my life.
That's hard.
And
Yeah.
it's the same with you. You then have to go,
God,
wait,
yeah.
this isn't what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's what I went to uni for. It's, you know, and then you have to step away from it. And everyone else that has been in your life and your family are going, what are you doing?
Yeah, because that's it. Because to
I think
them it
that's
looks
stability.
impressive. Yeah,
Stability.
It's, you know, it's very impressive being a salary that big,
Yeah.
and yeah, we've both been there, and it's like it's not really.
But once you find that realization, we know in our guts that that's not for us.
Yeah.
And we know that this path is for us.
Yes, because it just
And we
feels
know,
different.
but everyone else around us is going, what are you doing?
Like, oh, good luck then. Like, make sure that if you've got enough money behind you, like, I'm not worried. Like, don't you be worried.
It's coming.
Yeah, I have asked. I have been very specific.
And I will receive.
Yes, and that's it. So whatever it is you want, like, do not be shy in whatever it is that you want, right? So have the courage to actually just be like, no, not everyone wants the same things. You might be surprised, but not everyone wants to be a millionaire and to have a private yacht, and not everyone wants like to have this lavish lifestyle in a 5-bedroom house. Like, no, that's not everybody's dream. And see if your dream is just to feel a certain way. So see if you just want to wake up every day, and I want to wake up every day and I want to feel healthy. I want my skin to glow. I want to be able to run 5K a day, like something like that. Like, that's a feeling. So it's just make it that specific. And yeah, even if you're unsure about big goals or big manifestations, start with, this is how I want to feel. I think that's what I started with. Like, basically I felt like pure shite, so I'm like, this is actually how I want to feel, and I need to be that sort of person, and I need to ask for that first.
Yeah.
And then gradually things change and you start to realise actually what it is you do want to do. So for example, for me, that other business that I wanted to start, I was just like that was obviously for a reason that never happened. Yeah.
It all worked out.
Yes, it did.
Love it.
So write down a script, write down all of that stuff, and that's you putting it out there. And don't be desperate, right? Don't be like, oh my God, it's not happening like tomorrow. I need this just to happen the next 2 days or 3 days. Like, be realistic, and
Things take time.
you need to really be patient. Like, things take time, as Nelia has just said, and that can be the toughest part, and that can be the part where you start to kind of lose hope and you start to lose faith because you're like, why is this not happening?
You start to doubt yourself.
Yeah.
Start to get a bit scared.
Yep. But this is where we come on to part 2, right? So step 2 is you then need to align, right? So you need to trust your intuition. You need to look for signs, ask for signs, listen to your emotions. So signs, we spoke about it in part 1. So if you are starting to get that way, like, why is this not happening? Ask for signs, you know, like, put it out there, like, please let me know that everything's going to be right. All right, just show me a pink flamingo today, or show me a pink flamingo, or like, you know what I mean? Something like that. Like, it could be even something like the 111 that we kept getting, or tune it into that. Like, see if a number keeps coming up. It might be like 222, 333. Like, the angel number things is another sign. So if there is something that your brain starts to register, like, this keeps popping up, listen to it. It is a sign, whether you believe in it or not, right? And people will tell you it's a coincidence. Like, take that as a sign. I've always taken these things as signs, and it does kind of steer me in different directions, and that also will give you that hope and let you hold on to that faith a wee bit longer. And that's where these other tools come into it, like, so using like your wee crystals or like your magic rock or something like that, just to be like, okay, I know everything's going to be all right.
Yeah.
And trusting the process, trusting the timing.
I think it's aligning your behavior. So just showing the universe that what you believe is exactly what you deserve.
Yes.
You deserve it, and you have to believe that.
Yeah.
Because if you are just writing something down and saying, you know, want to feel happy, but you don't believe that.
Yeah.
And you're you are self-sabotaging yourself.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it. The universe isn't going to give it to you.
I mean, we've all done that. Like, so when I first started, I would maybe be writing things like, or years ago, right? So years and years and years ago, before any of this stuff, right? I'm talking like maybe 10 years ago, I would have been like trying to read some of these books, and I'd be like, what a pile of shite. Because I would just write down like,
We've all been there, Hen.
I want to feel happy, and I'd be like, oh well, I'm not happy, so that's obviously not. But I'd be like literally lying in a dark living room with my blinds shut on a scorching day and not doing it. Like, so my behaviours did not align.
Yeah.
So my behaviours actually showed, no, I don't want to be happy because I'm literally lying here like a cabbage. So how can I be happy? Like, and obviously I look back to that now and I'm like, poor young Paula. But so your behaviours need to align, and you really need to, that again, that's like taking the action. Like, so what does a happy person do? Well, first of all, they are out there in the sunshine when the sun is shining. They're making sure that they're getting into nature, they're going for a walk, they're doing, like, even if it's
They're
not that,
looking
like,
after themselves.
yeah, and you're doing things that make you feel good. And again, that's different. Like, for me, I might feel really good sitting on my balcony in silence with a cup of tea, whereas to other people they might be like, nah, that's not me. Like, for me, feeling happy is go and run the marathon every day. Like, so that's so you need to figure out what makes you happy and go and do that.
Yeah.
Make that a priority. So yes, if you are starting to manifest, you should be tuning into your emotions, tuning into your behaviours, looking for those signs, bringing it back to that gut feeling that we've spoke about a few times now. So your intuition will obviously be there to guide you along the way, and the more you practice things like self-love, the more you kind of start to cultivate those emotions of self-love, the more you will start to trust yourself.
Yeah.
When you don't love yourself, you will just ignore all of those feelings. And again, we've all been there. If you listen to episode 1, the universe was shouting and bawling to me. Mate, 111 just came up there. As soon as my eyeball looks at it. Right,
I can't.
that is a sign, right? We're not lying to you. That was not a setup.
That's insane.
When you are feeling like shit, so like I mentioned that last one, I was getting the universe screaming to me like all these things, like here's a sign, like what the fuck are you up to? Listen to us. And I was just ignore, right? So now I've learned that lesson and I'm like, okay, I absolutely do 100% trust my own gut. So good things happen obviously from those lessons as well. So take the lessons that are being delivered to you, and there's a difference as well. So learning to trust your gut and learning to feel the difference of what is fear and what is trusting your gut is a whole thing as well. So you need to let go of fear and you need to let go of doubt. I suppose you kind of said that, like you need to really believe what it is that you want. And that can move us on to step 3 quite nicely, I suppose, which is like removing those fears, removing those doubts, raising your vibration, changing your behaviour, practicing self-love. So we have episodes already for some of this stuff. Go back and read self-love if you haven't. Go back and what was the other one? Breakdown to break through. Did we kind of talk about this stuff?
A little bit, yeah.
So go back to those episodes if you haven't already, because that stuff is about like sort of removing fear and doubt and learning to sort of change your behaviours through different practices.
Yeah, I think on fear and doubt, often, I think it's actually in Roxy's book on manifesting.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. But I think often with fear and doubt, it can disguise itself if you're watching.
This wee book.
That's the book.
The orange
10 out of
cover.
10. We fucking love that book.
Such
so
a good book.
I think those two things can disguise themselves
Yes.
as protection
Yeah.
when actually they're sabotaging you. You know, they're actually
Sabotage mode.
destroying you.
Yeah.
And stopping you from success and stopping you from achieving. Really, that's when you have to start tuning into your body and tuning into your mind, tuning into your gut and going, what is the difference between my fears and my doubts, and what is the difference between my gut telling me what's going on.
And we'll all be able to relate back to some situation in our life. We've all had a time in our life where we're like, you've got a gut feeling about something, it turns out to be true.
Yeah.
Maybe bring yourself back to that, like reflect on that, reflect in a moment like that.
And how it felt. Because it's a feeling. Yeah. It's kind of that pit in your stomach. It's when your heart kind of sinks, and it really is a physical feeling.
You can actually feel your brain connecting to your gut. It's it's a lot. Whereas fear feels different. Fear, again, reflecting a time where you felt fear. So for me, that's maybe like
my heart's racing.
Yeah, before you go into the cold water for the first time, you're like, oh, I'm shitting myself. And you're a wee bit like panicky.
It's a different feeling. Gut feeling. Yeah, I feel like my heart just sinks, and I can feel it in the pit of my stomach.
It is almost as if there's alarm bells going off inside of you.
Yeah.
But then it's like, because you are so powerful. Like, you have so much energy and you have the ability to feel these things, and you just don't trust yourself enough. So build that trust for yourself through all those different methods. And when we remove fear and doubt, that's like goes back to the first step that we spoke about being very specific. Because if you are really scared to actually admit what you want, then that is going to stop you. Because if you're just like playing it safe and playing it down and being like, oh, I'm actually too scared to put that out there, then yeah, it's not going to happen. Because why would it? If you can't even admit that you're feeling like this is what you want, then why would it happen for you? Yeah.
And we also did a really good exercise on Sunday at the retreat, which was as we were scripting out our manifestations.
Yeah.
Every time you write something down, see if you can go even bigger.
Yes.
I quite like doing that.
Yeah.
So every time you were writing down a manifestation, go bigger.
Yeah.
Dream bigger.
Every time.
You know, every single time. See if you can challenge yourself to dream even bigger, because why not?
Yeah. That happened with me. So I done that. Like, I first started manifesting, manifest more money into my life because I was put into a really shitty financial situation, right? So I was like, right, I believe that I believe I can do this myself. So I need to get this money. And I believed that it was going to happen. I just didn't know how.
Yeah.
So my why of getting that money at that time was, okay, well, my job, why don't I just try and go for a promotion? So weird the way the timings happen and all that. So it just happened. As soon as all this shit was happening to me, my work needed someone to step in as like the assistant manager. And I was like, this is a sign. I need to apply for this role, because that is my freedom. That is money. That is going to allow me to live more comfortably. Because at that point I was fucking living paycheck to paycheck, right? And even like the promotion I was getting wasn't going to be substantial amounts more, but I just knew, okay,
it was more freedom.
Definitely. And it was more like, as well, feeling of trusting everything and being like, okay, this is meant to happen. But also, when I was going for that, I was like, if it doesn't happen though, then I know it's not meant for me, because it was never what I actually wanted. I just knew I wanted more money, right? So that was my opportunity. I applied for the job, got the job, right? And just the way it worked, like, I had never even had managerial experience. So all of it just seemed to work in my favour. Like, the other applicants didn't turn up and all that, like, just pure weird stuff. Like, that was meant for me. I got the job and that was fine, right? So obviously then you start to be like, oh, this is great. Like, what else can we manifest? So I started asking for more, and like, I showed you the journals there, and I was like, thank you for getting this massive promotion and receiving X amount of salary and being able to buy X, Y, and Z and earn X amount a month. And I ended up earning like way more than that, because then the other weird fucking thing that happened was the manager above me then left, right? So this other manager got brought in, and I was this person's assistant. Obviously, it was new to me as well. So I'm like having to work with this new manager, the two of us obviously in the office and sharing ideas. And fair enough, I learned a lot off this person. But then that person left, like, very soon. So then there was no manager. So I was forced to step in. And all that stuff, I'm just like, what the fuck? Especially that place before, no joke, see, until I went there, it had the same management for 18 years.
That's insane.
So how can that all be a coincidence? Like, I'm manifesting this, and it just all came at the perfect, like, it was, I'm not joking, perfectly aligned timings. I was like, this can't be right.
It was all
so obviously
happening.
I was like flung into the deep end, like, can you take on this role? And I was like, well, I need to say aye, because I fucking need the money. So again, that was more money coming to me.
Yeah.
I was getting like tax rebates. I remember getting like £500 back of my tax, like all this stuff, right? I was just like, money's coming to me. And that was like when I was like, I'm a magnet for money and all that, right? All of this stuff getting flung at me. Then obviously stepping into that post, and honestly, God, you could not write it, because then I was earning what I wrote down, but more. And this big position that I'd obviously wrote down, and it just, I was just like, this all happened within a year and a half. What the actual fuck?
It's insane.
Oh, so honestly, guys, do not be scared, because I put that out there.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But the funny thing about this story is I put that out there that that's what I wanted, but then it turned out that isn't actually what I wanted. Like, I wanted the
And here we
financial
are.
freedom, yes, but then I was just like, maybe not this much financial freedom.
Which wasn't specific enough.
Yeah, it wasn't specific, because it was like, well, you're saying you want money. There you go.
I know.
But I was like, yeah, I want money, but I actually want to enjoy what I'm doing. I want, so
Money,
yeah, then I
but
changed that. Like,
Not this Not
Yeah,
this kind.
I don't want all the shenanigans along with it. So let's just change. So don't be like that can happen as well. Like, so as much as I'm saying I manifested 2 promotions and this massive fucking salary, if you then get into that point, then again that's like signs that you need to tune into. Like if you've got to whatever you're manifesting, something's still no right, you're like, maybe this isn't actually what I wanted.
Oh, mate, we had that last week. Do you know? I forgot about this. I should have said this in the previous one, but my dad had a really spooky one on Friday because it was that crazy storm.
Yeah.
And so he couldn't work on Thursday, Friday, Saturday because he's a builder. He was worried about having to pay some huge car bill or something. And on the Friday, he got a random. So my auntie and my nan passed away a few years ago, and we got a random email on the Friday from an insurance company that we didn't even because I handled everything to do with my auntie and my nan.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know my auntie had life insurance and she was paying life insurance. I did not know she had this one. She'd only started it just before she got ill.
Yeah.
And it had finally come through. And the
will pay
life
for
insurance and they'd found out that my nan had passed away, and then they'd paid it through to my dad.
Wow.
And that had come through on the Friday. And it was because my dad was like, oh.
Wow.
So this week,
Stuff
because
like
he
that
had worked, and it was like, that's fine. All good.
Sorted. Aye.
And we were sat there and I was like, you
You're like,
manifested it.
Manifesting. You're like, you all call me
I
crazy,
know.
but
See, they keep getting these signs and I'm like, listen to me, guys. It works.
you're like, so there you go. If it even works for Nelia's dad,
I know.
it'll work for you.
It will work for you.
So there you go. That's another sign. And that moves us on nicely to point number 4, which is gratitude.
Why?
Yeah, so getting yourself into a state of gratitude. Again, we've kind of touched on this before, but not like the specifics and not. There's so many ways you can do this. Like you can feel grateful every day by simply waking up and just being like, oh my God, like I'm so lucky to have my bed. Like that was a lovely sleep I just had. Or when I'm boiling, mine is always my daily cup of tea, right? So I'm always like,
Always.
I'm always like, how great is it that I've got a kettle and I've got water that runs at my tap and I can make this. So that's every day. That's naturally like, so I don't even need to write that down. I'm just like always aware of that.
Yeah.
Take myself out on my wee balcony and I'm like, oh,
I just did it when you had your client there.
and you just feel
I
dead.
went out and had a wee cup of tea and just was loving life.
Taking a moment. And that's it. Like you can practice gratitude right this second. So right now, if you've got this in your headphones or if you're watching this on your screen on the telly, be grateful for having those things that allow you to do this.
Yeah.
Be grateful for having ears that allow you to listen.
Yes.
So many people have hearing impairments, you know, some people have visual impairments. Like if you are listening or you are watching and you don't, that's something to be extremely grateful for right now. Like imagine not having it. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'll imagine like, imagine I didn't have that. And it brings that feeling of like the lucky gal syndrome, I suppose, like that we spoke about earlier.
I write down, I always make a conscious effort to try and do this as well. And I write down in my gratitude journal. But when I have chronic migraines and when I have one of those flare up migraines, I write down as soon as it fades and goes away, which sometimes will take days, but sometimes it will go away within a few hours. But I will then write down in my journal, I'm so grateful for that migraine easing or something along those lines.
And feeling good again,
And
that
feeling
kind of
good
thing.
again. I'm so grateful for it coming out of that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can just feel really negative about it and you're like, why me? Why is this happening to me? But if you write down that you're really grateful for it, for coming out of it, then it kind of turns it around.
It does, because then you appreciate everything else that you've got,
Yeah.
especially gals like you who suffer from autoimmune and chronic conditions. Like imagine that must be horrible. And the only comparison I've got to that is my monthly period.
Yeah.
Like for me,
Because you
when
know it's just lifelong, like you know it's
Yes.
just it's going to happen.
that's it, and you can accept it. Whereas like yours can be random. Yours can be, so even like the period thing. I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but like you don't get one. So for me, then I then think about that. I'm like, I feel really lucky that I actually have a cycle that is 28 days. Like it flows like that. And for then some people, they don't have that.
Yeah.
And you must be like, sort of wishing that you did have a
Yeah.
cycle. So you hear us
Yeah.
gals like complaining about it,
Yeah.
but actually you're like, well, I don't really have that.
Yeah.
And I suppose there's, on the flip side, people will be like, oh, that's good, you don't get the monthly cramps. But
Yeah.
it might be
But
harder
then
for you
there's
to tune
things
into.
that come with
Of
having a
course.
period that, you know, are positives.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, having your period, and it obviously means that, well, not all the time. Like, fertility is
Yeah.
obviously a big thing.
Yeah.
And for you, obviously,
Yeah.
that's not a possibility.
Yeah.
And that could be hard to take for some people.
Yeah.
So it's been aware of that as well. So as much as we're all complaining about it, there's people who
Yeah.
don't have that privilege. So your period obviously is a privilege, and it's mad to say that,
It's
but
mad,
it is.
But
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
I know I think that's the thing of, it's almost making a silver lining out of things. And
Like, okay, I've got my cramps and I'm feeling like shit. But for me, my gratitude with that is I am so in tune with my body. And I am so in tune with my hormones. Like, and I just know. And for me, that's a really good indicator of where I'm at and what my health is like and what my stress levels are like. Because as soon as that's out of sync, I know that there's something wrong. So for me, I do feel grateful for having that cycle. Although I can really get pain and stuff from it, but most of the time I'm like, no, it's actually a good thing. So
Yeah.
you can turn gratitude even into stuff like that.
yeah.
Simple, everyday things, and which could be massive for others. That's simple ways you can do gratitude without even like making it a big deal, just bringing awareness really to all the things that you should be thankful for. Obviously then you can make that an exercise in your life. We've spoke about this before, gratitude journaling as you just mentioned, and
There she goes again.
here we go with the
Journaling.
We may as well just calling this
yes.
like the Journal Club podcast at this rate. If we're talking about manifesting, is write down 3 things that you're grateful for that you don't have yet, but write it as if you've already got it.
Yeah.
So that's a really good one that I would always use. So the diaries that I've got in front of me there, I had wrote things like, I am so grateful for the position that I'm in with this new job that has this salary and allowance. So I'd already got it the way that I'd written it. So that's another really good exercise if you're manifesting. But then that kind of ties into scripting as well.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Just being like, thank you for this, thank you for that. But also when you're doing thanks, so I think this comes from The Magic. Again, really good book if you're manifesting.
She loves it.
Love it. And so if you're struggling with actually getting that feeling of gratitude by just writing down, I feel thankful for this. So you basically write, I feel thankful for Nelia because she is such a lovely person, and anytime I'm with her, I feel really good. And so really feel the feelings of feeling good and feeling grateful, and just like have a wee smile to yourself. Like just be like, this is nice.
Yeah. Sometimes people struggle to find the time to journal, even though there's plenty of time in the day. I will say it only takes 5 minutes. However, if you're struggling to find the time, do it in your commute, do it in your drive. I was doing it on the way here.
Yeah, just thinking about it.
I was driving and I was talking to myself and saying out loud what I was grateful for. I think that's really powerful because you're on the move, you're driving, you are then speaking out loud to the universe. I know that sounds quite woo-woo.
Yeah, but
here we are.
I mean, you can waste your time moaning about people and like swearing that people cutting you off when you're driving, or you can actually just use it to
And enjoy your drive.
exactly, or even like find a mantra that you can say to yourself, like a gratitude mantra, like thank you for my health, thank you for my health, thank you for my health, and just repeat that, like, or even something like, I am a magnet for success, I am a magnet for success, I am a magnet for success.
And there's also, like, I think there's on YouTube, I've done it on YouTube, and there's stuff on, I'm sure there's stuff on podcast, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts too, for doing manifestation work and affirmation work, where you just repeat what the person's saying. I'm sure there is.
There's loads of stuff like that. There is, and there's ones like when you're sleeping as well. It's like a sort of sleep hypnosis, sleep meditation, and you listen to it. And there's
Really
ones
good.
for like gratitude, manifesting. And I used to listen to them years ago.
Do you know what
All
Donna
that.
does? That's so specific. She says if you have something really specifically you want to manifest, she will record herself saying her own mantras, and then she'll just play that to herself.
That's
On
really
repeat.
cool, actually.
Yeah.
Because that's used
it's so specific. It's
speaking
really,
to yourself as well. Yeah.
And that in your mind is very powerful.
And your brain absorbs so much more in the evening, obviously while you're sleeping, but then when you wake up in the morning, it's like absorbing all that without you realising.
Yeah.
I think a lot of my stuff actually at the start must have come from that stuff. Like, especially because I really struggled to sleep in this flat, as we've discussed before. So for me, being alone, sleeping alone, living alone, I was shiting myself. So I was like, I need some background stuff. And that's what I started to do.
Yeah.
So that must have been like subconsciously like, and for gratitude too, being like, give thanks as much as you can. And I know we all think that we're very polite, especially in our culture where like we say thanks and please for everything. But actually going that extra wee bit to thank someone. So like randomly text your pal and be like, thank you so much actually. Like I would be lost without you. You're such a good pal. Like give that thanks, especially if you really feel like that. I would find myself just randomly like meshing like my pals, for example, during the day, especially when I was going through a tough time. Like I've always expressed how grateful I am for all those lassies, and I would just randomly be like, thank yous, I actually just love yous so much. And then you'd get that back, and it's just that good energy. Like even things like buy somebody like a wee gift, give thanks, give gratitude. And if money, like obviously is a struggle, doesn't need to be a gift that you need to go and buy for the shop. You could be like, make them a wee extra cup of tea, or cook them a wee meal and take them at, like, there's so many things. That's it. It honestly could. Like, give them your last cream egg. Then they'll know that you're very grateful.
Oh, hi. But yeah, it could, just something wee.
Like kindness and gratitude all kind of like come in to that together, and you just feel so good. One of my favourite things that I love to do, and I've caught you with it before, is if I am in Starbucks and I'm in this wee mood where I'm feeling grateful.
This is the best thing.
Honestly, if you've never done this, give it a try. Your vibration just gets
You're the only person
lifted.
that's ever done that for me before, and it was the best. It
Really?
made my week.
Well, there you go. How good would you have felt?
It genuinely made my week. I've done it for other people, but that
I love doing it
cried.
for people.
Yeah, she made me cry.
My
Right,
last-
tell them what you did.
So we're in Starbucks, and something that I really like to do is pay for my order, and then if someone's behind me, be like, can you pay for what they've just ordered? And it could be anything. Sometimes you're a tenner, sometimes you're 20, and you're like, what the fuck have they just ordered?
I
But
ordered a venti as well, by the way, guys.
got yourself a wee treat that day.
know.
But you like, because you feel so good, and the cashier, sometimes people ask me, pay for their order, and I'm like, aye.
Aye.
And some people are like, oh, that's really nice. And then other people are kind of like, yeah, aye, okay. Like, just give gratitude, give to others. It makes you feel so good, and it makes them feel so good. And then we're all feeling good together.
She caught me off guard that day. My
I've
wee
got
angel.
this, hen.
So good.
And again, if you don't have a car and you don't have the money to do that, like it could be something simple. There's actually this really nice exercise. So another way you can express gratitude is just write a letter to someone and like deliver it to them. And even if you don't want to deliver it, see, just you writing that letter. But if you deliver that, you're getting the extra wee, because they are going to feel amazing. And I don't know if it was that book, but I'd done things like that, and I would just like write these wee nice notes or write wee letters. And I think that's why in the events, like I started writing all these wee cards, because see, when people read the cards and it just resonates with them.
It's the best thing ever.
So nice. And they're so grateful. And then there's thank yous getting flung about everywhere.
I actually had a message in between our last episode and this one from one of my students this morning about my wee affirmation card, saying that it really resonated with them.
Amazing. And how nice is that? And that's someone who's taken time out of their day to say thanks to you. And then you're feeling good and they're feeling good. It's our vibe.
I still have my first one that I got.
Do you
from
remember
Paula.
what it said?
Yeah, it's the one I sent you from.
Oh, yes.
Paula was having a wee rough day the other day, and I sent. It's on my fridge. I've got most of them on my fridge that Paula's given me.
Let me just bring it up, because yes, here we go. So it is. Oh, let's put a wee chime on.
Oh, there we go.
Believe in yourself, and you'll be unstoppable. You've got this. And then the wee message, a reminder for you. One of the first wee affirmations you gave me, hen, and it's on my fridge. Love you. You've got this.
Oh, love you, hen.
Bloody sweet. Love you too.
So good.
So that's another way you can just simply express gratitude every day.
Just a wee affirmation.
There's gratitude everywhere. And if you say, no, there's no, there is.
There is.
Like, see, when you say that to people and they're like, I just don't really feel, and I'm like, well, I could point out 10 things to you right now. Yeah.
Honestly, I really could. We could go around this room
and just be like that and that and that and that and that. And that's not just us, that's each and every one of us. Especially if you have a smartphone, you're privileged.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there you go. You might not like
and
to
I
hear
really
that.
try when I'm feeling at my lowest. And usually I'm at my lowest when I'm having a flare up.
Yes.
And that is when I'm feeling so shit.
Yeah.
And I try in those moments to at least find one thing that I'm grateful for. Because that is when I'm feeling
But also allowing
ungrateful.
yourself to feel shit. Like,
Yeah.
do not confuse this with block out your emotions and don't feel shite, right? Because that makes you feel worse.
Yeah.
So we're all going to feel sad.
Yeah.
We're all going to feel like low energy. We're all going to feel angry. Just let yourself.
Yeah. I'm lying in bed and I'm feeling like shit.
Rightfully so.
And then go, I'm grateful that I have a bed
Aye.
that I can lie in.
Exactly. You could be-
Because there's been sometimes when I've had a flare up and I've been having to work.
Yes.
You know? So I'm grateful that I have a bed that I can lie in.
Exactly.
And it just sort of recenters my brain.
Yeah. And sometimes when we're stuck in that place, which I've been in recently, your mindset, if it's so negative, you are gonna you will feel worse. It's like whatever you tell yourself is what you feel.
Yeah.
So be wary of that. And it's okay to sit there and feel rubbish for a short amount of time. The trouble that we end up getting ourselves into is when that becomes a daily habit. And that's when you really need to put in the work to get out of that. Because really, you can hold on to it for as long as, God, years. Some people can hold on to like certain things like that have upset them. Or you can be like, right, okay, it's happened. I felt my feelings. I've dealt with it. I'm trying to deal with it at least. And then let's find a wee bit of gratitude in this. And that is really hard to say and it's really hard to hear. But it is true.
I think that's a good way to move on to turning envy into inspiration.
And we've kind of touched on this before. So do all your gratitude, do all that good stuff. But like we say, there's still going to be bad feelings that creep up. So envy is one of those feelings that we all have had.
We've all been there.
But no one will ever admit feeling jealous. It's just not a nice place to be. And if you are feeling jealous about things, all that is completely bad vibes. I think like there's a scale, isn't there? So on the top, there's like joy. And on the bottom, I think it's like envy and bitterness and things.
Anger.
Yes, aye. And it's things that just make you feel, ugh.
Yeah.
So you obviously want to be on this part of the scale, not obviously number one all the time, but you definitely don't want to be at number 10, which is like the jealousy, anger.
You want to be above that halfway point.
Because we obviously give out off vibrations when we're feeling certain ways. And I don't know about you guys listening, but we get this where, you walk into a room sometime and the vibe is just off.
It's weird. You get weird vibes.
That is honestly coming from like the feeling that you're feeling inside, putting out there to the universe. People then absorb that. Or else, even it's kind of like that gut instinct of, okay, I know something's not right here. And even you don't even need to be in a room. Like we've had this recently where people have just been off with us.
Yeah.
And we both felt it.
Yeah.
So then you're like, right, there's something not right
Something's
here.
up.
And that's it. So when you're in that state of jealousy and envy and anger and bitterness and resentment, people feel that off of you. You are like, whew, black smoke's coming out of you, man. Like, and you are sucking people's energy. And if you're aware that you're being like that, I mean, we've all been like that. I'm not saying that, oh my God, I'm never like that. Not anymore. I'm not. In the past, I would have been. Yeah. But people were uncomfortable about me. Do you know what I mean? Like people were kind of tiptoeing about you. And especially when you are like, if that is your main feeling and you're sitting there and that's ruminating, you're never going to manifest a thing. No.
Your vibes are low. Low.
And this is when you need to really start doing things that will obviously raise your vibration and turning things like jealousy into inspiration. And that's something that we both done. Instead of looking at people and being like, oh, how the hell did she get to do that and I didn't? Like, instead you then look at that and be like, good for her. Like, I'm going to use that as my inspo, and I am going to go and do whatever she's done, because I'm going to get to that point as well.
Yeah,
Use it as inspo.
Yeah, I think instead of having that mindset of that's not fair, why do they have that?
Yeah.
Go, that's amazing that they've done that.
Yeah.
I would love to do that too.
Yes.
I would love to do that too. I'm going to use them as a role model.
Role models is a
I'm
good way
going
to
to ask
put
them
it.
how they've done that.
Yes.
I'm going to get inspiration from that.
Yeah.
Instead of always have it, I think we're so quick to go, that's not fair. You know?
Yes.
we always,
God.
we are guilty of that too.
Yeah.
In the past, we've definitely done that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I think now we're both in a place that we just
You're just
we
like,
use it as
I just
inspiration.
always feel good for others. Like,
I know.
why would you not feel good for others?
Lift each other up.
Especially people who are trying. If someone's trying, always support them. Like, why would you not, unless you feel insecure, which obviously means that you need to do some work in yourself.
Yeah.
Why on earth would you not support someone who's trying in anything in life?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if a kid's trying to walk, like learning to walk, and they fall, you give them encouragement. You pick them up. You don't like be like, oh my God, like you're so silly. Like you wouldn't do that. You would be like, right, come on. I listen to quite a lot of James Smith. He talks about a story like this, and he like really, really believed in himself, and you know, he was doing all the right things, and he was basically on this gym floor. And all the other PTs were like so jealous, like, you know, that way, like pure talking about him behind his back, like laughing at him when he was taking videos on the gym floor, laughing at him when he was going live on Facebook. And because he just was like fine, I believe in what I'm doing and things like that. He is now one of the if not the most successful PT in the whole planet. Like,
so successful.
Everyone knows who he is. And he just wasn't jealous of people. Like, he wouldn't have cared. Like, whereas all these other PTs, I don't know what any of them do now. Like, he's never
They're probably
really
still
they'll
in
be
the
in
same
that. Yeah,
gym.
of course.
Still bitter.
Yep.
Still probably
More bitter.
They probably don't even follow him on his social medias, but I bet they're stalking.
Yes.
They're that bitter.
So that's just jealousy's. You're never going to get to the place you want to go with jealousy. You really aren't. Or anger, bitterness, resentment, all those low vibe things.
All it's going to do is just push you down, hold you back, and keep your vibes low. And it's just going to cloud your judgment on everything. And every time you try to manifest something and try to build yourself up and try to reach your dreams and dream, just full stop dream.
Yeah.
That bitterness and that jealousy is just going to cloud your judgment.
And actually, I feel like when you're like that, because you attract everything, right? Anything you're thinking about, you attract it, right? So think about that with manifesting. If you're constantly thinking about things that you're jealous of or hating on people, you're going to attract more of that. Whereas if you're like being like inspired by people and supporting people and being thankful and being, you will also attract more of that. So you can choose, do I want to attract jealousy, bitterness, resentment, hate? Absolutely. No one wants to attract that. But if you're being that person, 100% that's what you're going to get. Whereas if you're being kind, loving, genuine, you're going to get so much more of that back.
Think if you're a visual person, imagine your dreams and whatever you're trying to manifest as like lovely blue clouds, blue sky, beautiful clouds, like cotton candy clouds, stunning. And then jealousy and bitterness being these dark, angry clouds, rainstorm.
Yeah, the Dementors from Harry Potter.
Whatever that storm was called last week. Coming in.
Yes.
Tornado, hurricane, and just ruining it.
Yep.
It just goes dark. And your dreams can fuck off.
They're going to get sucked in that wee whirlwind or by a big Dementor.
Like, that's what it is.
Genuinely it is. And honestly, so this is another step that then follows on from that. So we're on step 6, I hope.
Yeah.
Be magnetic, or you are magnetic. Remember that. So be the energy you want to attract.
Yes.
Whatever
So
you want to
important.
be, take that inspo and be like, this is my inspo. You need to be that energy. You need to be aligning with that. And honest to God, you will be shocked at how much you magnetize things like that to come to you.
Yeah.
I mean, look at us. We've been drawn together like a wee magnet. But it's like that whole your vibe attracts your tribe. All those sayings that are so cliche just now in social media.
Yeah.
They are so fucking true.
Yeah.
And you honestly are a magnet for anything that you're thinking about, like constantly. If you're constantly in a bad headspace, more bad shit is just going to keep happening. And if you're constantly thinking about all the good stuff, you'll recognise more good. And it doesn't mean to say that bad shit won't happen, because it will.
Yeah.
But you'll
That's life.
think about it differently.
Yeah.
And you get over it quicker because you don't get stuck.
Differently.
100%.
Handle it in a different manner, in a different way.
So see, if you don't believe in the whole manifesting, like, do it for your own peace. Do it to be like, okay, next time a shit situation comes my way, I now know what to do. I've got the tools now to deal with that. Instead of like ruminating and getting lost in it for you, like wasting days, months, years. Yeah. Because you can get stuck in bitterness and jealousy for a long time. So use it for that if you're going to use it. If you don't want to use it for manifesting, if you don't believe us, surely we've convinced you by now.
I don't think they would have got to this point.
No.
Oh, gosh.
So yes, be the energy you want to attract. Allow all your vibrations to lift. Do all that stuff we've spoke about in different episodes. Like lift your vibration very high. Yeah, be magnetic, and
step into it.
Ways that you can do that are writing down positive self-affirmations. You can write down, I am a magnet for this, I'm a magnet for that. Other ways that you can do that is finding stuff like that kind of lift you up a wee bit. So there's apps on your phone. Megan really loves this. She'll always send you hers. It's like it sends you a wee positive quote throughout the day.
I know the one.
Yeah, so she gets that every day, and it'll be like, I am a radiant sunshine in human form. And like, a lovely wee quote. And then if you just see that, it even comes through in your Apple Watch if you wear them. And just randomly throughout the day, you're getting like wee cute reminders. And you might not think they mean anything, but they honestly do.
Manifesty app is a good one.
There you go. Another
Manifesty app.
And
does.
same
and
thing.
You're manifesting something specific. You can go in and you can set specific times.
Right. For
which you.
So maybe like when you know you come out of work, you feel like shit. Yeah. Get it sent.
And you could do it for when you're having your morning cup of tea. Yeah. You look at your phone, and that's when you look at your phone.
And the first thing you see,
that's what you see,
is that instead of like,
it's so good.
Breaking news, 100 people die, and you're like, no,
that's not what you need in the morning.
That's just going to
not what you need
ruin
when you
the
finish
vibe.
Work. You need something
like that. Yes. So we've kind of touched on this anyway. So trusting in the universe, so trusting that it's going to happen, and in order to build that trust, you need to be doing all these steps, because if you're just thinking it, this is why we're calling out the bullshit of people who are like, oh, you can think your dream life into existence. No, you can't, because you need to do all these steps, and then you need to put the trust. So do not be desperate. And we've all been there. I mean, God, I've had that recently where just things weren't happening quick enough, and then I ended up feeling like pure shite. Yeah. That will happen as well. I think that was a wee nudge for me to be like, chill.
Hold on, Paula.
Calm down. And for me, I feel like I was just work 24/7. And that was kind of giving off, that was making me feel rubbish. So then nothing that I'm manifesting is going to happen then. Because if you're like grind 24/7 hustle culture, you are constantly in that state of give me more, give me more, give me more. And you've kind of, you forget.
Can't be like that all the time.
You forget to be grateful for what you've got. Like, honestly, I think that is what happened to me. Like, not that long ago, I was just like, I'm actually forgetting to look at all the positives going on round about me here. I need to pull myself together and just realign. And remember, we were talking about this the other night. So sometimes you can, I mean, most people aren't really like us. Especially if you're listening, you'll probably be like, don't worry, I'll not get to that point, right? But
don't worry, hun.
I could spend far too much time just learning, right? So reading these books, watching stuff online, doing courses, and my brain
just for so many courses.
We have a good why and we have a good intention behind that. So we obviously want to share all this shit with the world. But we don't realise that that's working 24/7. So for me, I thought that was a hobby, right? Because it is a hobby.
I know.
But also my brain doesn't get time to rest. Because it's like, if I'm relaxing, I'd be watching a TED talk. If I'm relaxing, it would be reading some heavy book about fucking spirituality or neuroscience. Like,
or someone's that's had a massive breakdown.
Yes.
And how they've broken through, and it's like some trauma, and I'm crying.
You're just taking
and I'm
this
like,
in
wow.
constantly.
And then I'm voicing it on Paula being like, you need to read this book. This person's been through shit. You know, it's something like that.
Mate, some days, I'm not joking, I'll share this. Some days I wake up, the first thing I do is pick up one of these books, right? Great. But then I go a walk and I've got another book.
Yeah.
Then I go another walk and I've got a podcast in. Then when I'm sitting chilling, there's another podcast on there. Then there's a TED talk. Then I'm sitting on the laptop doing a course.
And then we're editing.
Yeah.
And that's taking up our mind. Like people are probably listening to this being like, why don't you watch TV?
Yeah.
See, when my friend Katie came up to visit, that was the first time that I was like, oh, we can binge watch TV.
And you need to do that. You need to make time for that in your life.
We sat there and we binge watched TV, and I was like, this is the life.
Because then you are switching off. And that's exactly what I done recently because...
we both did it.
Yes.
And that was our time.
Helped
that we
so
were,
much.
And we've come back and we were like, wow.
I had like
refreshed.
3 days of just, I didn't pick up any of my books, didn't listen to anything, I didn't watch anything that was, you know, educational, nothing.
I watched the opposite of educational.
Same, like the traitors and stuff like that. But do you know what? It's difficult because I genuinely love this shit.
Same.
Love it. And I am obsessed.
I know we're the same.
And I'm fine with that. I love it, right?
But
so,
we have to tell ourselves to take
calm
a break.
down. Aye. So that's it. As much as you love something like that, it still is heavy. It's really heavy to take in. God, I was speaking to someone earlier who were speaking about 101 Essays to Change the Way You Think. So I was like, love it. But she felt that was really heavy. But to me, that's light. So to me, that's a wee light read for me.
That's a light read.
But she feels that that's quite heavy because it is obviously quite deep.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're consuming that all the time.
But we're consuming heavy stuff. Oh, God.
Aye. But listen, it's all got a good purpose. We're here to share. So you just don't need to be as crazy as us.
So you don't need to.
We'll do it.
We'll consume it for you.
Because I do love it. But I did like also, but then that comes into balance, right? So your life does need to be balanced. So mine was so heavily tipped, not balanced.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it was just like grind mode culture, which is horrible. Without realising though, because I thought I was having a good time, like listening to my podcast and doing this and like, oh, everything's great. And then I was like, one day, I can't even look at a fucking book. I can't do it. And I'm like, but I love this stuff. And then I was so annoyed at myself. And you were like, just watch the telly. Don't do anything else. And I did. And I sat there all day, ate whatever the fuck I wanted, had my blanket, didn't even look at my phone. All the books are fucked over there in a corner, if you can see right now, Nelia. I was like, I am not looking at any of that stuff. And I've done it for like 3 days. I just completely switched off.
It's done you so good.
So good. I feel light and free. So always balance as well. Balance your life out. And remember as well, whenever you're feeling like that, it's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a sign that you need to take a wee break. Don't worry about it too much. You've got this. You'll get back into it. And you will honestly feel a million times better. It's so crazy. That it's always that reminder, like you need to take the highs with the lows. You need to ebb and flow. Yoga is so good for that. Like the philosophy of yoga is, if you're interested in yoga, read a wee bit more peaceful. You're like, okay, this is nice. Which is
yoga
saves lives.
We said it once, we'll say it again.
We'll keep saying it. And obviously we've spoke about all that stuff in our other episodes. We don't need to bore you about the journaling and the meditation and the yoga, right? That also will tie into your journey.
Here we go again.
And just try and be a good human. Be a good human.
Aye.
Like write that down right now. Be a good human. And remember, like we all know about karma, right? We all know. But actually when you really look into karmic energy and all that, and like whatever you put out, you'll get back. And you know, that if that doesn't make you go, okay, I'll change to kind of just see if this works. Like play about with karmic energy. Like I've done that before and I'm like,
I truly believe in it.
Oh,
and
so do
my
I.
experiences with it. Trust me, guys.
But don't use it in the negative way where you're like, that arsehole's going to get karma, right? And you're praying that something terrible happens to somebody, because that's just you being in resentment mode. Because I think I'd done that for a while. I was just like, oh well, karma will get them. And it's like, no, because that's just resentment and bitterness and fucking do good things for your karma, because you can't control someone else's karma. Like you just can't. As much as you feel like you've been wronged or somebody's a snake or this or that, like you're only responsible for yourself and your own feelings and your own karma, your own vibes. So pick your people as well, because if they're doing things that bring you, like, do you know what I mean? If you used to do something and it's bad karma together, like it's just, it's not good. Even if you didn't want involved in it. Yeah.
Ick.
Aye. So like, see, we'll put this before, like, so see if your pals are like out and they're like judging people and bitching about people and talking about people, you're affected by that, even though you might sit there in silence.
I've told you about stuff like that before, even in group chats. It
affects you. Yep. And that'll come back to you. It will.
You have to step away from that. You have to leave your group chat because you're
like, this is bad
feeling
vibes.
a vibe and people are gossiping in a really horrible way.
Yeah. That's
not good vibes.
No.
And that is bringing you really bad energy. Just go, no, that does not align with me. That is not who I am.
It's so hard. And we've spoke about this before about workplaces. What I used to do was, so I'd be sitting and it would be people just bad mouthing each other. I just started to remove myself. So as soon as that started, I would literally just get up and walk away.
Yeah.
And they feel uncomfortable at that point. But I was just like, I just wouldn't say anything. So they couldn't challenge me on it because I'm not saying anything. I'm just moving myself. I'm not sitting here talking about this.
I'm not being a part of that.
It's just horrid. So remove yourself from situations like that, because you don't realise how much that can be affecting your karma, your vibes. It is uncomfortable to begin with, but you will feel so good. Like, so protect yourself. You do really need to just become selfish in the good way.
Yeah. Self-love.
Yes, self-love is not selfish. It is necessary.
A wise word from you by Paula.
Okay. So you can create your own reality through your thoughts, and your thoughts can also create your reality.
I love that.
Thank you.
Well done, then.
Thanks.
Very wise. She's a very wise gal.
That one came to me. I started talking. I just said the word reality and thoughts, and I thought, yeah, let's go with it.
So wise.
So breaking that down a wee bit, like, it's what we've basically just said. If you're constantly thinking about all this negative stuff and you're thinking about how shit everything is, that's your reality.
Yeah.
But your reality is only that because of you thinking like that.
Yeah.
And obviously, we always need to make it very clear that you should feel shite sometimes, and you should, and you should feel angry about certain situations. Like, you know, you should. But those thoughts, if they're there for too long, will create this new reality, either for the good or for the bad. Why? Which will obviously either enhance your manifestation or stop your manifestation.
Yeah.
Yes. Right, what else do we need for this episode? We need a poem.
Get the book out.
Get the book out.
Hold on. Look, I've even got it.
She's actually prepared this week.
I actually have. Look at me.
Look at you go. Right, you ready?
Aye. I'm nervous. Close your eyes and see it. The life that feels like sunshine, warm, endless, and all yours. Each thought a spark, each belief fueling a flame, each step pulling your dream closer. Feel it in your heart, the love, the abundance, the joy waiting to greet you. It's already yours. Step into it like you've already claimed it.
My eyes are closed and I can feel that one.
I wrote that one for the event on Saturday.
That was lovely. And that is the feeling of gratitude and high vibrations and feeling just so good.
Yeah.
That is that.
You got to feel it.
You're bloody talented, hen. I'll give you that. There'll soon be Neil Lear's poetry book. Please don't let MD tell you that you can't, because you 100%, you can. And we're proof of that.
Yeah.
Other people we know are proof of that. Like, go and find inspirational stories. If they can do it, so can you. Like, do not let anyone tell you any different, and see if they are, just tell them to fuck right off or use it as fuel to be
Honestly,
like, I can actually do it. Thank you very much.
Aye. A reminder, gals, this time last year, me and Paula still did not know each other. And I was still going, manifesting that I needed my tribe.
Yep.
And look at us now.
Solid
Podcast
proof.
queens.
And I actually think it was this time last year. I think there's a video. It would have been like the end of January, sort of February time, that I made that vision board and podcast was on it. Like, you were the same. So listen, my whole year last year completely changed again. So I obviously climbed that ladder I spoke about, took that leap to then be self-employed, which is what I manifested in 2022. The yoga, the gym, like everything, the events companies, I manifested all of that back then. I wrote down exactly what I wanted. And here it is. Actually, one of the ones I wrote was to be able to share inspiring messages with others. Here we are. So accidentally, again, manifesting like a podcast back then. Like, okay, so you want to do that? There you go. Here's an opportunity. Go and do it. Like we mentioned at the start, it doesn't need to be a physical goal. It can be, I want to feel this way. I want to every day wake up and feel free. It'll work if you're putting in the work, though.
Only if you're putting in the work.
We've gave you the tools, guys. You need to go and run with it, and happy manifesting.
Away you go.
Good
well
luck.
done that you made it to the end, gals.
Yes, and thank you as always. If you have any nice wee inspirational stories you want to share with us, please just let us know, because we just love to hear all the wee stories. And this is a good time to express gratitude. So if you've taken something from this and you're like, I'm so grateful for that, let us know. Like, we'll be grateful for you sharing that to us. Like, you thank us, we'll thank you. The vibes are good.
Oh, aye. Karmic energy.
Genuinely, aye. And if you want us to clarify anything, just let us know. Again, we're always happy to support, always happy to help. And we value your feedback so much. It makes us feel so happy. So thank you as always.
We love you.
We love yous. Oh, stunning.
Gorgeous.